Hello my friends, welcome to Pro-Am Strings. I'm Henriette and in this lesson we are practicing exercise 106 and it's called the Arpeggio March, and I'm going to play it for you first, and by the end of the lesson I'm hoping you'll feel comfortable playing it yourself. So here we go. And as always, we will play this together more slowly so that it allows you time to develop your playing technique in this piece. You may have noticed that I was using more or less half the bow for every quarter note and the whole bow for every half note. And in this piece you can play the quarter notes more in the middle of the bow, and you'll still use about half a bow but just spread out across the middle. I call this bit the grand middle of the bow, and it's a nice place on the bow to create a really lovely sound. I'm going to count us in 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're just going to explore the notes now. So I'm starting just below the middle of the bow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Retake the bow and I hope that you will have noticed that in this piece there are lots of arpeggio patterns, and it is, like I said in the previous lesson, because arpeggio patterns and sections of the arpeggio appear so often in pieces that it is well worth practicing the arpeggios separately. And here you can see a prime example of how it's been useful to learn the arpeggio before you play this piece. Let's have a look now at the section where the slurs come in. And when you slur two quarter notes together, they make up the whole bow. And you want to use the whole bow whenever you play the slurred notes. Let's just pick out the end of the piece, the final section of the slurs, which starts at bar 13. And I just want you to think about the first bar, bar 13 here. First you slur fingers 1 and 2, and then you slur the third finger onto the A. Now in this case here I'm going to play the A with the fourth finger so that I play the two notes that are slurred on the same string. After all, a slur makes the music sound smoother. If I'm then going to add a string crossing by playing the A on the open A string, it doesn't really go together with the idea of the slur. Instead I can play the fourth finger and the two notes are played on the D string, so that sounds much smoother than crossing the strings halfway through that slur. So let's practice bar 13, shall we? 1, 2, 3, 4. If you find it tricky to reach the right tuning of the fourth finger, soften up your thumb here again so that it's easier for your pinky to reach to the A. Let's practice that again, and now carry on. Hold on a moment here. Let's do the same thing now and use the fourth finger. have it. There is a general rule in violin playing that says if you play a slur and you can play the two notes of the slur on the same string, you would always aim to do that. Now in this song you may have also noticed the lines underneath the stave that suggest you leave your fingers down. If you can do that, that's wonderful. If you can't quite manage it, that's also okay. We'll add that to your playing at a later stage. But what you might try and do is when you play the third bar and you've got the second finger next to the third finger, you might feel that these two fingers are close together. Your second finger is an F sharp on the D string and your third finger is a D on the A string, and there is no space between those fingers, so those fingers are together. And you learn to feel how these fingers relate to one another as you go along. And this is one of those moments where you might start to feel how these two fingers fit together so nicely. Let's play the whole song once again, shall we? 1, 2, 3, 4. Wonderful playing, and I'm hoping that you're really going to enjoy playing this piece because it's a really lovely song in my opinion. If you want to get more out of your lessons following this channel, have you considered becoming a member of Henriette's Violin Club? Every month we do a Henriette Goes Live question and answer session, and as a member of Henriette's Violin Club you get to ask the questions. Henriette Goes Live is always a nice and informal way to find out intricacies about violin playing or little bits of knowledge that you might not have thought about before, and it's always good fun and a very friendly atmosphere. So do watch my video about the perks that are involved with Henriette's Violin Club, and I look forward to seeing you very soon. Goodbye.